Though many people say matrix structure is a very complex kind of a structure, but I always feel that when you go with the vertical and horizontal combination, you have something called it is complex as well as are behaving homogeneous. But if something happens that is heterogeneous, then there is a problem. Both the authority people will actually be very friendly and they'll work for the objective of the organization. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Abhilash Chandra from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to the 8th session of planning chapter. Now here in this chapter you will understand about the matrix organizational structure. Now what exactly it is. Now last session we understood the functional structure where you had the vertical format, but here in the matrix organization structure you have both vertical as well as horizontal. Now what exactly the matrix structure is? Though many people say matrix structure is a very complex kind of a structure, but I always feel that matrix structure will give a dual aspect as well as the people will get so much confident because there will be two people who will check what exactly they are doing it. So there is always a dual combination. The management of a company will build an organizational structure to help achieve the objectives of the company. So here what it is? Objectives of the company. This formal organization of a company refers to the structure of jobs, the flow of authority, defining the relationship between employees, etc. One such a formal organization is matrix organization. Now here whenever we go with any structure, we are supposed to know why is that these structures are made. The first and the foremost reason is we go with the structure only to achieve the organizational very fast. That is the objectives. Now here you need to understand that the matrix structure is a formal organization. What is it? A form of a formal organization. Though matrix structure is more complex and complicated. They are more complex and complicated, but you should also know that in a matrix organization, the structure of the company represents the grid-like structure or a matrix. So there is a grid which is there. So you can also see that the matrix structure is a kind of a complex and more of complicated. Now both complex as well as complicated. The reason is I'll be giving you the structure, what exactly it looks like, how exactly the management will go with. Before that, you should also know that in the modern matrix organization, these are the grid, that is there is a grid structure rather than the traditional hierarchy structure. Now the traditional hierarchy structure you have seen in the functional structure where a MD was there, HR manager, you have finance manager, you have marketing manager. Apart from that, you had the functional structure. That means what are the functions they do, only those people are classified in that particular department. That is called traditional hierarchy structure. There are still departments according to the functions like IT department. Now traditional structure in the sense we go with human resource management, marketing. Now there are a few more structure, that is IT department is there, financial department is there, and there are so many other kind of department as well. These are the vertical structure of the grid. That means you have what? Vertical structure. Then there is also a project division. Now the project division comes in the horizontal way, right? Which forms the horizontal chain. So you have vertical plus horizontal of the command on the grid. In this structure, an employee will have two reporting authorities. Please understand how many we have. We have two reporting authorities. This functional departmental manager and his project manager. So you have one is functional plus you have a project in this matrix organization structure. Please understand the matrix structure. It is of two authorities have been given. That is one is the vertical as well as one more is horizontal. When you go with the vertical and horizontal combination, you have something called it is complex as well as it is very good because I'll tell you, you have two of the authorities. One is the manufacturing manager as well as the manager who is assigned for the project A. Now what happens is the entire manufacturing team, they are supposed to report to both the parties here. So that is how the matrix structure look like. So I'll go with it. The first one is the top management. Here you have manufacturing manager, sales manager, financial manager, and human resource manager. So these are the traditional kind of a thing. That is called the traditional line. Next, here we have manager, that is a project A, project B, and project C. If you understand, all the departments, whoever are there, they're all same here. But here what have happened is there are 3 projects which we are taking into consideration for one particular job. Now all these 3 projects will be totally different, but when they achieve individually and then when they are summed up, what happens is we get a different result. Now try to understand this. We have a project A where you have manufacturing unit, sales unit, financial unit, and HR unit. The same way you have for project B and project C. But you need to also consider that these people need to report the project manager as well as manufacturing manager, sales manager, finance manager, and human resource manager. So that means what? There is a dual authority. Say I'll give you a hint here. Now manager, that is a project manager A, right? Now project manager A, but here we have, say, the sales manager. Now the sales unit, if I take a consideration called sales unit, now the sales unit employee should also listen to the project manager A as well as the sales manager. Now that means what happens? There is a merit as well as there is a demerit. Now what is a merit? The sales unit will actually get trained under the project manager who is expertise in the field of the entire work, plus the sales manager who is expertise in the field of sales. Now here what is a demerit? The demerit is there is no unity of command and there is no unity of direction. That means there is lack of unity of command and lack of unity of direction. But if you understand the scalar chain and the flow of authority, now whatever the sales manager will tell, if it is the same thing what the project manager also says, now there is no problem for the sales unit. But if there is a heterogeneous behavior of sales manager and project manager, there is always a dilemma and a confusion for the sales unit what to perform and what not to perform, because both the managers here, they have the same position, same authority and same responsibility. So you have both advantages of matrix as well as disadvantages of the matrix. First we'll check about the advantages of matrix structure. Here, matrix organization structure is really beneficial to the employees. What is it? To the employees, it is very much beneficial. Why? They gain the advantages of having dual support. That is, their functional manager can help them with their knowledge and skills, and the product manager can give directions to their work and effort. That means more learning happens in the matrix structure. Second is, in a matrix organization, there is a better and more efficient use of resources. You will go with optimum utilization of resource because both the managers are very keen about what will be the outcome. So you will actually go with more usage of your resources. Resources can be shared across projects, reducing the cost and increasing the efficiency. You'll always save money in matrix organization, but it is too much expensive. The projects are different, products are coordinated with all the department. This avoids any miscommunication. Now there is no absence of miscommunication if both the managers are behaving homogeneous. But if something happens that is heterogeneous, then there is a problem. Information flows in seamless, that is, it flows from top to bottom as well as across the organization. That means when you go with functional, it goes from top to bottom. That is, here you have a top management, it goes to the units. But the same way, it goes across the organization. That means you have the project manager here. Now project manager will be here. So from here to here, that means both the way, that is vertical as well as horizontal. The employees have to manage 2 managers. This means they have to take few autonomous decisions. This will help them to build their long-term relationship with their decision-making skills and managerial ability. Now what happens here to the employees is they have to manage two managers. That means the functional manager as well as the project manager. It also promotes specialization to some extent as well as lateral coordination. Now, both the ways you are supposed to manage and you are supposed to work in the matrix organization, that will actually bring more coordination, and there will be lack of communication if you are streaming in a proper channel. Now, we'll check the disadvantages of the matrix structure. This type of organization has a complex structure. The first and foremost thing is what? It has what? Complex structure. It may be slightly difficult for all employees to fully understand and integrate themselves into their structure. Now here what happens is how well you are experienced, how well you are adaptable, how well you are a team player, you will get to know that whether you can adjust to two managers or you cannot. There is a dual authority. We already know that matrix structure is always a grid kind of a structure where you have dual authority in a matrix organization. An employee may find this complexity hard to deal with. They will be confused. They will be confused as to who has higher authority over the employees. Now that is what a dilemma will be there. That is, whom should you listen first? It's not about whom you are supposed to listen, it is whom you are supposed to listen first. Then we'll go with ineffective management by either manager can lead the massive miscommunication and misunderstanding in this system. Now here even the management as well as the manager can go wrong. That is, whatever he says, whether it is valid or not, if he has an ego clash with the project manager, now whatever the project manager says, this manager, the functional manager, can say it is wrong, or it is vice versa where the project manager says it is wrong. So there is a discomfort between both the managers, then there is a problem for the entire unit. Next is, it is also the most expensive organization structure due to dual authority feature. Though it is, I'll tell you, you get more objectives done in the matrix structure, that is, you will get it very fast, but the problem here is it is most expensive because you have two heads in the same department. And finally, if there is internal competition between the line managers and the product heads, it can lead to unhealthy internal conflicts, and this will distract the employees from their main aim, that is to achieve the company's objective. Now if both the managers have internal issues, then what happens is it's a very big mistake for the company. The reason here is the company cannot achieve the desired objective in the same time with the conflicts of the internal management between the functional manager and the project manager. So the disadvantages are little, but the advantages are more. If I need to give a conclusion about matrix structure, the matrix structure will be fit in a very proper way only when both the authority people will actually be very friendly and they'll work for the objective of the organization, but not for the objective of individualism. That's why even Frederick Winslow Taylor says that you are supposed to go with increase in value of each and every person. Efficiency should be more than actually going for the individual. Henry Fayol also says the same thing, that is, there should be subordination of individual interest to the group interest. That's the reason we are supposed to go with matrix structure. More advantages are there, that is, you will learn more from the matrix structure than actually lose something. So these are the examples of matrix structure where we went with the advantages and disadvantage. We also know about how the structure is. The structure is mainly about vertical, that is all about the functional manager, and the horizontal, which the project manager need to lead. Thank you so much. Hope you have understood. I'll see you when I see you.